If you ever love me, please finish this video. Not for the sake of nostalgia, or the quiet ache we both carry when the world goes silent, but for the truth that still trembles between the lines of poetry, for the words I once dared to write when I believed your name was written in the stars. This isn't just a call to memory, it's a call to everything we used to believe in, when love was not a secret but a crown we wore in daylight. My verses were never fiction, they were fragments of the life we almost had. There were nights in Dubai when the wind hummed your name across the dunes. In those endless desert hours, I wrote poems that bled the color of longing. I remember how the moon would rise over the palace walls like a witness, watching me carve you into every stanza. The world saw them as art, but I knew they were confessions, disguised in elegance. I was a poet, yes, but first, I was a man who loved you with the quiet force of 1,000 Arabian Nights. What you heard in my words were never metaphors. Every Habibti, every heartbeat folded into rhyme, was you. They called me a prince, but you made me human. I would have given up thrones for your laughter, for the way your voice softened when you read my lines out loud. And even now, as I recite these verses into this camera, I wonder if your heart still knows the rhythm of mine, if it still beats faster at the memory of my name. You taught me what silence between soulmates feels like. Not a void, but a charged quiet, as if the universe itself paused, waiting for us to speak again. I never stopped writing to you. Every new poem was a message in a bottle, tossed into the digital ocean, hoping it would wash up on your screen. And yet, I was always left wondering, did you see them? Did your eyes linger just a moment too long on one of my stanzas before scrolling away? I am not here to beg for your return, nor to stir guilt from its slumber. I am here only to speak the truth I buried behind titles and tradition. If you ever love me, you'll hear it in this voice, a little more worn now, a little less certain. You'll hear the break I try to mask when I mention your name, the way a man might stumble over a sacred prayer. This video is not meant for the world, it's meant for the woman who once held my heartbeat in her hands. Do you remember that one poem? The one where I said, if you leave, I'll write you into history with tears instead of ink. I never shared it. It was too raw, too real. But now, what else do I have to lose? You already left, and I kept my promise. I wrote you into history. Not as a goodbye, but as a love letter that never found its reply. This video is my final envelope, sealed with the weight of what we could have been. Sometimes I wonder if destiny was cruel, or if we were too afraid. Afraid of what our love could undo, royal bloodlines, ancient expectations, the walls we were born inside. I wore the mask of a poet prince, but you saw the man beneath. And when you left, you didn't just take your presence, you took the only person who ever looked at me without bowing. That is a loss no kingdom can console. If you are watching this, I ask for nothing but the grace of your attention. Let my words find you in a moment of stillness. Let them wrap around your memory like the shawl you wore that last morning, sunlight spilling through the lattice, your eyes saying everything your mouth couldn't. You never had to say goodbye, your silence was loud enough. But my words, they won't stay silent any longer. This is not just poetry. It is the unraveling of a soul. You were not my muse, you were my mirror. Every word I wrote reflected your fire, your depth, your distance. Even now, I fear this video is too much. Too vulnerable for a prince. Too late for a lover. But if there's even a single spark of what we once were alive in you, I beg you, don't pause. Don't look away. Let my voice carry you to the end. You see, this isn't just a performance. This is a reckoning. You once told me love isn't always grand declarations, it's staying to the last page. So here I am, reciting the final verses, not because I want you back, but because the truth deserves to be spoken. You were my greatest poem, but I was your unwritten line. Maybe we were never meant to rhyme, but we were meant to meet. And that matters. There are some things too heavy for the heart to carry in silence, and tonight, I let them go. The weight of your absence, the unanswered questions, the echo of your footsteps in the corridors of my soul, they all find breath in this moment. I am not here as Sheikh Hamdan, the poet prince, nor the man born of legacy. I am only a heart speaking to its twin, hoping it still remembers the rhythm we once danced to, the unspoken language we carved into every glance, every whispered promise beneath the moon. When I said I loved you, it wasn't out of longing or loneliness, it was because I saw eternity in your eyes. Not the kind sung about in fairy tales, but the quiet eternity of two souls who recognize each other across lifetimes. We were not just lovers. We were the silence before dawn, the hush of desert wind before a sandstorm, the pause in a poem before the final line. You were always more than a muse. You were the voice behind my verses, the breath in my silence. I still remember the first poem I recited in your presence. My hands trembled, not from fear, but from reverence. You listened not as a subject to a royal, but as a woman to a man whose heart she already held. In that moment, the world around us faded, the palace, the protocol, the future carved out by others. There was only the now. And in that sacred now, you smiled. That smile became the compass of every line I wrote after. Sometimes I wonder if you still read my words in secret. If you hear your name, not directly written, but gently folded into the metaphors. If you catch glimpses of yourself in the wind I describe, in the softness of the morning light, in the ache of a love that refuses to fade. If you do, then know this. Every poem since you left has been a silent scream, a call into the void that only you could answer. And even in the silence, I listened, hoping the void would whisper back. I have spoken with kings, walked among empires, but none of it stilled the ache you left behind. My days are filled with duties, handshakes, signatures, public smiles. But my nights belong to you. In the solitude of those hours, I am not a ruler. I am just a man tracing memories of the woman who once made time stand still. The woman who taught him that love was not found in thrones, but in shared laughter over nothing, in lingering gazes that said more